Serpent guide you.
You can't be serious granting them an audience. This is exactly the impression we don't want to give.
Please, Jamal. Don't you see how all this works in our favor? It's not up for discussion. I won't risk what we've worked so hard to achieve. It's done.
No, you'd risk our future and reputation as a house. But you are the chosen elder.
Ah, don't patronize me. The Great Serpent spared our house. We are favored here. And shouldn't you get back to the council? We can't afford to be absent at a time like this.
I guarantee I'm not missing much. But you're right. I'll be heading back soon enough. Good to see you. Your focus should be on Rasmus' needs and assisting House Kadik. All must serve.
Since you exposed Okeem, we'll be reviewing our policy for new House members. So, Akris has sent our newest Vindicator to inquire about Sahima. Don't worry, Jamal's already told me all about you. I'm Razma, Elder of House Kadik and head of the Ministry of Conjunction. The Ministry of Conjunction is one of the 3 government branches of our society. We deal in information to ensure the High Council can make educated decisions. Most of our work is highly classified. Even the High Council itself may not be aware of all that we're involved in. House Kadik is one of the 3 noble houses under House Veth'aal. We've a reputation on being the more moderate of the 3. Not as fervent as House Veth'aal, and not as passive as House Dul'Kehf. We're also largely associated with the Ministry of Conjunction, since I lead the department. You're right. It's not wise to waste time on pleasantries, especially now. Besides, who am I to argue with the Great Serpent's choice? I know the Council is looking to Sahima for answers, but the truth is, she's been taken, along with other members of the House. They're being held hostage by Zealots, and now they're demanding negotiations.
This is a major overreach. I have never known the Zealots to be so bold.
What happened to Dazra was a cataclysmic event. The city may seem in order now, but those first few days, it was chaos. And the Zealots took advantage. Because right now, this situation is a matter for the Ministry of Conjunction. As much as the Council thinks it's their business, it's not. At least not yet. They want Sahima, and we're trying to produce her. The Zealots have yet to name specifics. At best, they'll demand an inordinate amount of credits or firearms. Worst case, a seat at the High Council, or even the reinstatement of their house. House Malene. They know we can't risk Sahima for Dazra's sake. So, they won't hold back when it comes to demands. They had a house. House Malene was abandoned a long time ago, but there are some who'd want to see it reinstated. House Malene was fully dedicated to Jandar Varun. They objected when his brother, Jarek, was chosen to take over as leader. They knew he would bring an end to the Serpent's crusade. It's why they abandoned their house and became the Zealots you know today, to continue what they believe is Jinan and Jandar's work. Jinan Varun had twin sons, Jarek and Jandar. Jandar fully supported the Serpent's crusade, and to many in House Malene, was the best suited to take over for his father. Aha. My thoughts exactly. Normally I'd have agents doing everything possible to find them. But we too suffered losses. We need to be here. Present. I couldn't risk more lives. It's the only reason I even agreed to these negotiations. But now that you're here, I can finally take action. And that's where the issue lies. I don't know where the Zealots are keeping Sahima, but I have a good idea who does. Their name is Merrick. Merrick is a Kadik, and they also work for me as an agent in the Ministry of Conjunction. This is where matters get complicated. Once I made the decision to go through with the negotiations, it wasn't necessary. Now that the situation has changed, well, that's going to be your job now. Very resourceful, and luckily, a location I'm familiar with. If my intel is correct, you can find Shadow Station Epsilon in the Badlands, north of Dazra. I can send you the coordinates. The Shadow Stations were established during the Serpent's Crusade. A series of secret military installations that few knew about, and even fewer may remember. The idea was to have isolated centers focused on different aspects of furthering the Crusade. This way, if one fell, it wouldn't endanger the others. Epsilon was once a research station, with a focus on grav drive manipulation. The Zealots have since vastly expanded upon it. But it makes sense if they intend to use Sahima to their advantage. Shadow Station Epsilon is one of many Zealot bases scattered throughout. As I mentioned before, I wasn't willing to risk agent lives in order to scout them all. If anything happens to the hostages, they will lose a lot more than leverage.
We will do whatever is necessary to bring Sahima and the others back safely.
Now that we have a rescue mission underway, I'll speak to Merrick about setting up the negotiations. The current plan is to hold them at one of the geothermal power stations. Meet us there when Sahima and the others are safe. If memory serves, it's southeast of Shadow Station Epsilon. It shouldn't be too hard to find. It's a fairly neutral location, and just the right distance from Dazra, so both parties will feel safe. The geothermal stations are also autonomous in nature, so we don't have to worry about unwanted eyes and ears. I see you have a grasp on how these types of negotiations work. I'll stall the Zealots as long as I can, which shouldn't be an issue. That being said, I'd still appreciate it if you could act quickly. Now, Jamal wants an update before you leave. Just don't let her distract you for too long. To reiterate, I don't know where the Zealots are keeping Sahima, but I have a good idea who does. Their name is Merrick. Merrick is a Kadik, and they also work for me as an agent in the Ministry of Conjunction. This is where matters get complicated. Great Serpent keep you.
Vindicator, a word before you go. Tell me, Vindicator, what do you know about the Zealots? I'm impressed. You've already learned quite a bit from your time with us. The Zealots are widely frowned upon within our society. They're a remnant of the Serpent's crusade, days we'd like to forget. Has my dear sister given you any history on our house's relations with the Zealots? I see. Should have expected as much. Rasma would have everyone believe she only wishes to keep an eye on the Zealots, so the Council can make informed decisions. The truth is, she's had this particular group of Zealots under her thumb for quite some time. This is only a problem now because she's lost control. That is the real reason why Rasma hasn't informed the High Council, and I'm sworn to silence.
I would argue that what you describe would be considered treason. And rightly so.
Yes, I'll get to that momentarily. As a member, I can say it certainly is not. House Khadik already has a reputation for being sympathetic to the Zealots, but the truth is far worse. Rasma wants the Zealots to back House Khadik, so the balance of power between the noble houses would shift to us. She's been employing them, paying them in supplies that aid their blind crusade. There are several members who are sympathetic toward them or their cause. Some see beyond their extremist veneer and believe they're just misguided. A very small few may believe Jandar truly was the rightful heir, but none would ever admit it. I'm certain it's the case that members of the other houses feel the same. House Khadik is just the only one who's been exposed for it. Rasma would believe they want to reintegrate or even reestablish House Malene, and she's a fool for it. The Zealots want nothing but the means to carry out their war. Credits, weapons, and ships. And these very supplies would be used to harm not only your people, but our own as well. The Council knows nothing of her work with the Zealots, and I aim to keep it that way. All elders have their own ambitions. I'm certain that's all they see. What none of us expected was the disaster that is the Scaled Citadel. The aftermath is what allowed the Zealots to grab Sahima and the others, flipping the balance of power in their favor. Rasma has lost control and is putting House Khadik's reputation and power at risk. And that's what I wish to speak to you about. House Khadik shouldn't be associating with Zealots at all, except on an extermination level. But worse, we absolutely cannot be supplying them with ordnance of any kind. We need to cut ties with the Zealots altogether. Exposing this information to the Council would condemn not only Rasma, but House Khadik along with her. I have no wish to tarnish our house or ruin my sister. I simply want to show her the error of her ways. Far from it. I want you to put an end to any connections between House Khadik and the Zealots. And while my position won't allow me to be blunt, I'll still make it clear. Should the hostages not survive, Rasma would blame the Zealots and cut all ties.
House Khadik would go to any lengths, it seems.
Perhaps you don't understand. These noble houses have existed for generations. The people look up to us to guide them under the will of the Great Serpent. The fall of a noble house would put everything into question. And with the state Dazra is in right now, I won't allow that to happen. Those few lives will be nothing compared to the lives the Zealots will take if House Khadik continues to supply them. Sacrificing them would open my sister's eyes, quelling any sympathy and desire to work with the Zealots. Once Rasma no longer sees the Zealots as an ally, the rest will soon follow. What we need is Sahima's research, which she has with her. You just need to bring it back. I see I misjudged you. How unfortunate for us all. Well, should you change your mind, the offer still stands. And Vindicator, this conversation stays between us. Your lack of vision may cost hundreds their lives. I'd ask that you reconsider. I wish it were the case. This is an ongoing point of contention with my sister, and it never changes. Rasma and I come to agreement, something happens that makes her reconsider, and we're right back where we started. This is why extreme measures are necessary. Only something truly horrible will force her eyes to remain open. Rasma and I are normally quite agreeable. We've always been like-minded ever since we were young. It's the reason we were groomed for the positions we currently hold. The Zealots are what divide us, much like they divide our house as a whole. We use similar tactics to navigate the complex waters of Varun society. But most importantly, we share the same ideologies when it comes to House Khadik and the people of Dazra. There is no progress without change, and Dazra stagnates in old tradition. Perhaps your arrival in the Scaled Citadel incident, awful as it was, will serve as a catalyst to finally advance our society. Many within the Ministry of Conjunction are aware of the division. They wouldn't be good envoys otherwise. And yes, it does affect them. When you aren't united, the cracks begin to show. The dissidence grows. Rumors begin to circulate and trust is called into question. Our envoys should know better. But that's how we ended up with the current narrative that House Khadik is sympathetic toward the Zealots. I remember it well. Zealots attacked a Highlands growth farm. A weapon left behind was one used in payment for a recent operation. Rasma could accept it as collateral damage. I could not. An innocent family died that day. And it opened my eyes to the greater consequences of working with Zealots. What do you want to know? The oversimplified answer is yes. The two may be synonymous, but house politics will always take precedent. House Khadik is a symbol, a noble house, and its members are held to a higher standard with greater responsibility. All must serve.
Decent fighter and skilled hacker? Is there nothing you cannot do? makes all this difference, is it not?
What was that?
If you're here to help, that zealot had a key. You have to get me out of here. Who are you? Serpent's Grace, I knew it! I knew she wouldn't just leave us here to rot. It's more than just me. There are others. The Zealots have been using them to force me to continue my research here. They think I have all the answers since the original experiment was a catastrophic failure.
The Zealots were wise in their tactics. Up until now.
Well, the Zealots think they are forcing me to continue my research here. They want me to apply my theories to an Asco-scaled Citadel debacle. Somehow they ascertained my previous involvement. The original experiment. The one that took out half of Dazra and sealed off the scaled Citadel. Surely you must know. I'm sorry. I realize the elders and council members may not be properly disseminating this information. I'm not one for politics, obviously. Are you saying my theory is correct? I knew it! I told them their algorithms and insufficient testing were only giving the illusion of stability. But no one wants to listen to me. Not the girl who put people twice my age to shame when it came to assessments. Of course, this is what it would take for Razma to send someone after me. Negotiations? Oh, right. I'd almost forgotten. I overheard the Zealots mention negotiating with House Khadik, so the motivations are clear. Not only does the High Council deem me important, but Razma needs to remove me from the equation. I get it. But at least now everyone knows I was right. With pleasure, but I won't leave without the others. The Zealots aren't aware of how I've been delving into their systems here. I told them I needed full access if they expect me to replicate Anasco's experiment, and I didn't even bother with risk assessment. They think I'm applying my theories to their poor excuse for technology down here. Granted, I could probably make it work if I had to. Well, Yes and no. The other hostages are being kept just beyond this room. I can disengage the locks to their cell and grant you access to an elevator in the room beyond that will take them to safety. You just have to clear out that area first, and the Zealots down there are... different. Some may, but keep in mind that we are scientists. Many of them have never seen true combat, and are no longer proficient with weapons. But some, like me, may still be capable. Just don't expect much of them. The Zealots you'll encounter beyond here are... altered somehow. To be made thus would be to show them the Great Serpent's mercy. Good. Those skills will prove useful then. While you get the rescue underway, I'm going to set up certain guarantees here. I'll meet you and the others outside. The Zealots have a small network here that I can plug into. They think I've been working on my research, when really, I've been formulating a virus that will shut down this entire base. And their ships. I'm more than capable of handling myself. Besides, the Zealots think they need me, so my life isn't in danger. If I'm not out there when you free the hostages, just come back for me. And a well-thought-out one at that. I just need enough time to set up a remote device so I can launch a virus that will render this place useless. Think of it as a failsafe to guarantee our safety. The Zealots would never risk this base or their ships. These are Zealots we're dealing with. The only reason they even have hostages is to make sure I stay in line. I couldn't threaten them without knowing the others were safe. No way. It's probable that we'll make it, and when we do, I'm handing this over to a familiar face. No offense. Now move it. You've got hostages to free.
Take what... You must. Leave the rest for the scavengers.
Something's happening.
interesting find. Shall we?
Servant, save me. I don't wish to die here. Is this the end? Thank the serpent. I thought I was done for.
You aren't a zealot. Who are you? The Great Serpent is merciful. And Tahima? Did you find her yet? We haven't been able to observe much. They are physically superior, stronger, faster. They ignore pain and are resistant to things that would take any normal person down in an instant. I'm not sure what the Zealots have done to create them, but I would surmise the process was less than pleasant. If only there were more of us down in the caves. I wish it were that easy. The Zealots separated us. Our brethren are still out there. Please, I can ready my people here, but you'll have to deal with the Zealots and rescue the others so we may all escape safely. Thank the Serpent. In that, we are more than ready.
The Great Serpent himself must have sent you. I thought we were dead.
Thank you.
I just want to go home.
Someone or something will clean up whatever's left behind.
Thank you. We owe you our lives.
You did it. You got everyone out. You did it! It's true what they say. The air really does smell fresher.
Serpent bless you. We owe you our lives. Thank you.
Now, it's time for you to head back. I'm going to stay back a moment and make sure everyone here is okay to make it back safely. I'll catch up with you shortly. Just let me know where the negotiations are taking place. Of course. I successfully rigged a remote device to shut this whole place down the moment I see a zealot. I just need a moment to make sure everyone is fine. Have I mentioned I'm sick of people telling me what to do? I'm staying. I'll be there when it counts. Now go.
These members of your house have suffered. I can respect your decision.
The Great Serpent was truly watching over us.
The geothermal power station isn't far from here. I'll be there. Don't worry, I'll be there. This virus I've been working on will overload every major system within Epsilon. Not only that, but any ships that they worked on here within the past few days will get hit as well, as long as they're within range. I may have the Kadik name, but I've never felt like a true part of the family. House Kadik prefers agents and envoys for the Ministry of Conjunction. Scientists take a back seat. Without all this drama, I'd be willing to bet she couldn't even remember my name. They think I'm the key to opening the gateway to the Great Serpent. For them, it's both a race against House Va'ruun, and also proof that they were right, that Jandar was Genon's rightful heir. Luckily, none of them are scientifically minded enough to know I spent all my time delving into their systems and developing a virus. They're dangerous. I've only caught glimpses of them and hacked into a few messages regarding them, so I don't know much myself. They've been altered somehow. Cybernetics, mental and physical conditioning. I couldn't say without examining one for myself. I'm not exaggerating when I say they'd be better off made dust.
I can't thank you enough for saving us. By the Serpent, you did it.
Is your intent to be unreasonable the whole time? I thought this was a negotiation.
We're having a friendly chat, aren't we? It's not my fault you don't find my offers acceptable.
Nah, just the person I wanted to see. Please tell me you bring good news. Exactly what I wanted to hear.
Razma, who is this? You allow any commoner to just waltz in on official business. I'd expect better security from House Kadik.
This is hardly official business.
Yes. And now these so-called negotiations are over.
Over? You'd risk everything after the whispers of a stranger. I demand to know who this is. You think I care about Anasco Va'ruun, son of a traitor? Only a complete fool would expect me to believe this.
It's true, Mihail. And if you don't leave now, peacefully, I'll make sure your ships and Shadow Station Epsilon are made dust.
You... How did you... You're bluffing.
Test me. You think a genius mind like mine wouldn't find a way to hack into every system in your base? This remote device will launch a virus that will detonate systems within Epsilon, and reach your ships as well.
You realize how this may affect future partnerships, Razma. You'd jeopardize our connections.
It jeopardizes nothing. It merely restores the natural order.
The natural order. I could take you all out here and now. You know every one of us is prepared to answer the Serpent's call.
You're so willing to sacrifice your allies at Shadow Station Epsilon?
You don't think they're as prepared as we are? We all answer the call, and if that day is today, so be it. No, but it's the death they know is possible. Besides, you think I'd turn my back on the insults thrown here today?
You mean, do we think you'd throw away your life and the lives of everyone at Shadow Station Epsilon over your pride, Mihail? No, I, for one, don't think you will. And you can't deny our partnerships have been beneficial for us both.
As much as our people may disagree, Jandar would see you sacrifice your life in direct service to the Great Serpent. Both would have you die, cleansing the accursed, and turning those who may listen to his shadow. You know this to be true, Mihail. A true promised lives only to serve. And your death today would serve nothing.
Blessed sister, you speak truth. I have been blinded by pride, but your words have guided me back to the path. All right. I won't deny my brethren the death they deserve. But I won't forget this either. Don't think this won't change anything, Razma.
Things have already changed, Mihail. From the moment you kidnapped House members. These negotiations are over. Now leave us.
You have no idea how satisfying that was.
Don't think this is over.
I can't believe the Zealots listened to you.
I couldn't have asked for a better outcome.
With the hostages safe, your loyalties are clear. Serpent guide you.
House Kadik is in your debt.
As am I. I owe you my life.
Sahima, you are a part of this house.
I know. I just wanted to say thank you. Personally. And here, it's the research and algorithm the High Council wants. I'm sure they'll appreciate it more coming from you. As much as I'd love to gloat, I have enough awareness to know this isn't the time. And I know myself well enough to know that I simply wouldn't hold back. You're welcome. It's been quite the life experience I've had lately. If you have any spare time, maybe come find me later? Great. You can find me at the Great House whenever you get the chance.
We'll talk later, Sahima. As I was saying, House Kadik is in your debt. You've helped me maintain a very precarious balance. As for what you've learned here in regards to the Zealots, I'd appreciate it if you kept this a secret. Our relationship with the Zealots has always proven beneficial, especially when it comes to our work at the Ministry of Conjunction. The only reason they gained any semblance of power was due to the gross miscalculations of Anasco and his research team. Exposing this information to the High Council will only diminish House Kadiq's power. Zealots are extremists, but our goals are the same. Spread the word of the Serpent and await the shrouding to be embraced. A solid alliance would involve concessions, but more than likely, it would quell their misguided crusade. The Zealots are an effective tool when needed. They're a source of information, a window into your world, and yes, at times, a blunt instrument. Some alliances are worth the risk, but that will be for the High Council to decide, should you decide to play the informant. The others involved know better than to speak of this. House ties run deep. Betraying one's house is a display of disloyalty that no house would tolerate. It's a guaranteed way to ostracize yourself in a society like ours. As House Elder, I know my family well enough. We're all well aware of our unspoken agreements. Now, I have much to do, and so do you. Ekris and the High Council will be expecting you.
We have nothing to discuss here. I'll see you back in Dasra.
My brother lost his wife and home in the catastrophe.
Our fate lies in the morning device. It must be completed. Ah, were you able to find Sahima? Theoretically, yes. The science is sound, especially with Sahima's numbers. Either way, we have no choice but to take the risk of failure, as small as it may be. Whatever Anasco did inside the Citadel remains unchecked, and we are all at risk until we can get inside. Perfect. I have no doubt Sahima's work is the key to stabilizing the morning device. If only the others had listened to her, we may not have lost so much of our great city. This leaves House Veth'aal. I pray they are cooperative. There's no telling how much time we have. And before I forget, I've been told to inform you that the Council has now granted you access to the armory in the keep. Seems they're pleased with your work.